All right, welcome everybody. I'll start in a couple minutes. So, how about in the chat, you could put in where you from? What state are you from? That would be great. I am from Ohio. You can see my big old sweater on today because um, it is freezing here. Okay, so let's go. All right. There we go. All right. Okay, so today on this video here on this live stream, we are going to first talk about women docs, some challenges that people have reported in building things to support women docs. So, what has happened in other institutions? What are their learnings? And so, we're going to go over, especially a manuscript that was published in 2024 by a Dr. Fresh. So, if you're Dr. Fresh, just say hey. And so, we're going to talk about 3 ways to beat feeling stuck as a woman doc. And anything can happen as a woman doc. There's so many different places to work. You can have your own private practice. You can work in a big group. You can work in all different areas. And so people have just a range of experiences. I've been a woman doc for 30 years. I like to share resources with other people. I like to use neuroscience to help people nourish and flourish. I like to use neuroscience to help the professional career. It can go like this over the years. And I just think knowing more about how our brain works, what it needs, what helps it focus is really key, and so we need to know how to work with it. I see a lot of things like the brain lies, the brain does this, the brain can't remember, the brain has bias. Like, yep, that's all true. But how do we work with it? How do we use it at work to help us focus? How do we help it, help us be the best docs for our patients and their families? What can we do to really optimize what's between our ears? Okay, so let's start there. So in this live stream, we're going to talk about 3 ways to beat feeling stuck when you're a woman doc, no matter if you just started or you're in training. If you're in training or you're in med school, put med school or residency in the chat. I'd love to know. Thank you for your focus towards your future career. I love when I would be on hospital service and I would get to see, meet the learners, the students, medical students, and the residents. It would just warm my heart just to see, they really were trying so hard to learn everything that would help them be great docs. Even if they didn't love neurology, I'm neurology, so they would, sometimes just like do what they need to learn in my area so they could be better cardiologist or GI doc or what have you. So, I appreciate, and the med students were just trying to learn how to, give a good presentation, how to summarize a case, how to find the important points in a case, how to learn professionalism. So all of these things that need to be done and accomplished in the learners. So in our students, in our residents, our fellows. So thank you to the docs in training out there. I know someday some of you will take care of me. I appreciate it. And so I appreciate you taking care of my family, our community, wherever you might be. So that's a great idea. Just put it in the chat where you are. Like, are you, the sun keeps coming and going. So it's funny that the lighting is going in and out, but that's just because the sun's coming up and down and YouTube's trying to figure it out. But it's good. We always love when we have sun in Cleveland. This is just a major accomplishment. So we'll take it. So the light may come and go, but that's all right. I'm right here. Don't worry about it. Some people ask if I do have a crocheted brain right here. Answer, yes, I do. Why? Because my daughter crocheted it for me. Do you want to see it? It's like completely amazing, right? Look at this thing. So somebody asked me for the actual, like how to make it, she just found it somewhere and she doesn't remember where. So look around, maybe you'll find the pattern to make the brain. Really amazing. I'll put it back here so you can see it. Okay, so we are here to figure out at least 3 ways to bust through as a woman doc when you're feeling stuck. Sometimes it's because we're distracted. Sometimes it's because we feel isolated. Sometimes it's because we're doing a lot of clerical work and we feel like that stuff doesn't matter. Like that's our purpose is to help humans with their health and their well-being and whatever they're going through medically or surgically. And so sometimes it seems like, how do I find work that's impactful? And so these are the things we do. I built a company called Brain Fresh. I'm Dr. Mary Rensel. I'm the founder and CEO of Brain Fresh. And then recently, I opened a membership for women docs just to come in and that we can share resources. Because when I do, like, what's my purpose in life? I like to share resources. That's my favorite thing, is to share something that will make a difference in your life. I like to be a bridge, so I give you something and then you can just be your full, amazing self. And so that's my favorite thing to do as a doc or a mom or a friend or a business owner. So in Brain Fresh, we have various ways of supporting the women doc or going into corporate and supporting people on their professional path. And so, I'm just honored to be here and thank you for checking this out. And so today we're going to, help women docs, like what are 3 ways to beat that feeling of feeling stuck. And I think the one other thing we need to acknowledge is when you're in, getting your MBA or you're in business school, or even if you are in the corporate world, typically you're always building skills. You're intentionally building skills, and there are resources for folks to keep building their skills. And sometimes people don't have access to that in healthcare, that professional development over the years in healthcare, because you went through so much training to be a doc, and here you are. But yet, we're still human and we love to learn. Like we love to feel vital. So, vital is living and growing. So, how do we keep building skills so we can just keep finding things interesting, right? And that's okay to acknowledge, like, if you feel stuck, you might need to put some time and energy toward number one, taking some time to figure out what's important to you. This is what I do in my one-to-one coaching with docs and also my group coaching with docs. You want to know more, just put coaching in the comments and I'll get back to you and share some things with you. So in my one-on-one coaching, we take some time. Like, what's important to you? What do you want to know more about? What gets that little feeling inside that's like, oh, that could be exciting. That could actually make you feel happy if you knew more about this thing, or just thinking about a possibility gets you a little spark of happiness. I was just talking to a friend of mine who was thinking about something new. She goes, I actually felt happy. Like, love that. That's what growing is like. But there's a lot of emotions that come with growing. So we just have to acknowledge that emotions will be there. They're like the weather. Right now, if you could see my window here, it's like blizzard, snow, freezing. That's our weather right now in Ohio. But it's not always like this. Sometimes it's lovely. So emotions are like that. They come and go. Sometimes they're freezing and super cold, and sometimes they're nice and warm. And I could just go out in shorts and work in my garden, or go for a walk without anything, no coats or boots. So we know emotions will come and go, just like the weather will come and go. When we want to learn something, we will have emotions. So if you feel uncertain, you get that little feeling of happiness. So my friend who's thinking of a new job, she got a little feeling of happiness, but then what does the brain do? The brain's like, oh, you got to be careful because, this might happen, this might happen, this might happen. So the brain usually will shut down new ideas because it metabolically wants to save energy. It's already managing our whole body and all our body systems, right? So it's already doing stuff. So it doesn't always like when we have big ideas. It's going to give you about 25 reasons why you should not do that. So that's our neurometabolism just saving itself. And that's okay. Just so you know, that's what's happening. Okay. Say, thank you, brain. I will give you extra rest, good nutrition, good time with friends, get out in nature. Just take care of that thing between your ears when you want to make a change. Don't do less. So a lot of times when we're busy, we want to make a change, we do less for our brain, right? Okay, so let's go back to the challenges that can come when a woman doc wants to, promote her own professional development, or those on her team, or those in her department or her institution. What are some challenges when women docs have tried to teach other women docs leadership skills? What are some challenges when women docs have tried to help other women docs get their academic levels, just keep growing their academic levels? So this was a published paper called Women's Professional Development Programs for ER Physicians, a scoping review by Dr. Frisch, published in 2024. Okay. So they were looking at a bunch of articles. They went through 149 articles, and they decided to look at eventually 10 programs that were trying to have those three goals: promoting professional development, promoting leadership skill development, and increasing women docs academic, progressing through assistant, associate, full professorship. Okay. So looking through all these articles, they found about 10 institutions that had those three goals, because that's a unified goal to really, to increase professional development for women docs. Okay. So what they find? Challenges. They found a lot of challenges. Okay. And all of these, and some of the challenges um, uh, were consistent, the same in each thing, but some were, different in each. So let's think about this. Okay. All right. Here we go. So what are the challenges that they saw? Number one, money. Money, right? Of course, money. Money is always a challenge. Do I have lipstick on my teeth? No? Yes? Let's see. Yes, no? Okay. Hopefully not. Anyway, we can still get the information with or without lipstick on my teeth. Okay. Money. Why is money a challenge? Well, you can't do too much without money. You have to do it then before work, after work, at lunch. You can do virtual, like this. This YouTube doesn't cost any money. You could do that. And then support from the institution. They found that was also limited. They found recruitment to the programs challenging, just to let people know about the program so that they knew even when they were, how do they get the information out to busy doctors who are doing a lot of different things throughout their institution. And also getting institutional recognition. So if somebody had started a program and just letting their chair know, or their center director know, whatever the boss structure is. And so that was also a challenge. And then giving them time to do it. So did they get work time to do it? Was it time off work to do it? Weekends? When were they doing this professional development? And sustaining it, putting something into place that could last. A lot of times it was one person that was doing a lot of the work. And if that person moved on, or had a new baby, or retired, or left, or graduated, then it wasn't sustainable, because that one person really had put a lot of time into it. So what are the systems that they found that actually helped? They found when there were mentors, when people helped others, just sharing their knowledge, sharing their resources, that helped to have a formal mentorship program. They also found when there was a role model, when somebody would share the way that what their journey entailed, like how did they do it? How did they help other people? How did they make it through the challenges? And then career advice, giving career advice. Here's what to do the first 5 years. Here's what to do the next 5 years. Here's where you should interview every 5 years. Here's why you should keep your CV up to date. Just give some advice, like what worked for them. Don't do this. This really cost me 10 years of trying to get something done and it didn't happen, or do more of this, so there's advice that can be shared, and a formal way to do that depending on what your career level is. And I would say personally myself, I found over time, I felt like I was strange, or um, I don't know, like it wasn't a common thing to want to keep learning. Like I was like, I don't know why I feel weird. I feel odd, because I was looking for growth opportunities, and I didn't know if those were like, leadership opportunities, or building a business, or, taking a pottery class. Like what was it that I wanted? And so I had to take some time and like think about what was important to me. What was missing? What did I want? Okay. So a lot of like, this is what's missing, but what do you actually want? So if you want your subconscious to help you get to where you want, you have to know what you want, right? So that's why, like I said, when I coach women docs one-on-one, the first step is writing 15 minutes a day. Just what do you want? Get it out there, put it on paper. Writing helps us kind of organize our thoughts. It makes us really think about like, what do we want? Like what order? Like, so if I could have everything, what's on the list, if I could only have three things, what's on the list, write it down. Like what's the priority, right? So I just decided to call myself a builder. Like I'm a builder. I like to build things. I built a family. I built a business. I built a career. I built a political career now. I just build things. I like to build things. I'm in pottery now. I was in the Senior Olympics. So I like to build things. I want to build a biking team. Like I like to build things. So I just say I'm a builder. Some people, maybe you're a learner, maybe you're a connector. I also like to be a resource giver, just to share resources with people, like we said. So I also think I met somebody, one of my neighbors at one point in time who's moved away since, but her husband moved all the time. She was the supportive wife and so many kids. And, she would tell her kids the reason we move every 5 years is dad can't stay in third grade all the time, So in his business, in order for him to keep learning new skills in his business, he had to move regularly. They had to move every 5 years. So the kids were, some liked it, some didn't like it. But that's the case in medicine. Like we don't want to do the same thing. There's always something to learn in medicine, no question, always. But in a professional development sense, in a career journey sense, is there something else you're looking for? Something that you always wondered about? Like I wondered about business. I didn't have an MBA. Did I need an MBA to start a business? No. I hung around a business coach and group of docs building a business. Then I hung around women building businesses. I would go to national level meetings of women building businesses, hear speakers, join courses. So I just put myself around people who were already doing what I wanted to do. That's called your growth team. So that's the other thing is you want to build a supportive community for whatever you want to do. So like me, I need more people to teach me how to ride a bike, not ride a bike, but race a bike, how to rock a bike race, So I need to find people who know good bikes, who know how to train. I need to find that the spring to prepare for the summer. Um, I don't have that now, but I have to put that together because I could probably figure it out, but it's more fun just to do it with the growth team. Recommendation is about 5 people around you that are close to you, that will hold you accountable, that are a few steps ahead of you. So this goes back to what this article showed, this women's professional development programs for ER physicians, is that when they had mentors, when they shared their career journey, when they had role models. So those are growth teams. Those are people around you that are a couple steps ahead of you or at your side, supporting your growth. And so all the MBA programs recommend when you're trying something new, you build a growth team. So where are you? Where do you want to go to? Your ideal state. What do you need? What skills do you need to get there? And who's on your journey just for this particular goal? Like for me, if I want to be qualified in the Senior Olympics or the National Games, I need to learn about it. Like what are their, what are their times? What bikes do they use? How do you train for that stuff? I don't know. I did one Senior Olympics race, but it wasn't a qualifying year. I was the last one. 80-year-olds beat me, but I had a hybrid bike, so it slows you down, like it grips the road, which is good for like rocky roads. Anyway, so I need a growth team to help me learn how to rock that fast bike race, right? So I could do it myself. I could go on YouTube and learn just like other people do. But I think it'd be faster, easier, and more fun if you build a growth team. And that's what is suggested in the literature as well, in the professional development literature. Okay. This is what we don't get in med school, right? We don't usually learn in med school how to build or grow our professional career. Okay. So we learn how to be a doc and how to get our license and to keep our license. And, maybe you need to take a test every so many years on the material, the scientific and medical material. But how do you grow as a person in skills? How do you grow as a mentor? How do you grow as a sponsor? How do you grow new skills? How do you become a leader? Even if you don't want to stamp that you're a leader, but you want to lead your team, how do you lead a team? Do you get any advice on that? And so there are skills that can be learned, and there's professionalism skills that is taught to some degree in residency and fellowship. I think you could put in the comment, do you learn any professionalism skills? Do you learn any, yes or no? Do you learn any team building skills, yes or no? That'd be interesting to know that. Okay, so number one is get a mentor. That is what they suggest. Be a mentor, get a mentor. Just keep that growth team spirit, that support spirit going to help people get to their next level, right? The next thing they suggest is a 10-minute coffee. Actually, this is from a book called Design Your Work Life. It's a wonderful book, Design Your Work Life, written by a Stanford team of docs and professors that run a course called Design Your Work Life. Why? Because people are floundering. They say, I don't know what to do for my life. So they give you structured and instructions how to design your work life. So this is what I'm saying. In medical school, we don't learn that we don't have to figure this out, that there's literature, there's books, there are tools. This is what I do in my coaching, connect people to these tools so you don't have to go out and run around and read every professional development book and try and find what works. I've already read a big stack of them and I just share them with you and how you can get moving today. Okay, so number one, be a mentor, find a mentor, grow your growth team, build or grow your growth team, or join Fresh Path MD. This is where we have a team where we can support you. It's in the link, and we would love to have you in there. It'd be great. That's for women docs only. Okay, so 10-minute coffee with other people. And then learning is wonderful, but implementing is vital. Okay, so we have to try one thing. So as you learn through this, what's the one thing? Maybe you're going to call someone and ask them to be a mentor. You're going to say yes to somebody who asked you to mentor. What are you going to do? Implement one thing. So take action. Because in a neural sense, when we're supporting our brain, we want it to keep learning and developing. Long-term potentiation is what we would call learning. What it looks like to us, like we're learning something, is when you do something over and over, or you physically take an action, and then you have long-term potentiation, so things are easier next time. So get a mentor, be a mentor, 10-minute coffee with someone, and then implement one new thing. Okay. And then also, and during all of this, we have to say no to things, close the doors to things that are not your priority. Okay. So that also means you have to decide what is important and in order, what is most important, so you know what to say yes or no to. Okay. So, put in the chat what's your favorite learning from this video. I'd love to know. We really have to acknowledge a few things. Number one, when we are considering growth, we will have emotions. We're uncertain. We're newbies again at something. It doesn't feel good. Sometimes it feels scary. We might feel scared, uncertain, hesitant because we're new at it. That's okay. All of that is fine. That's normal stuff. Okay. We just have to be able to manage emotions. That's another skill. That's a professional skill, is emotional intelligence. These are all the things we do in coaching, in the group or one-on-one coaching. It's important stuff. This is professional skill building. Okay. We want to beat isolation. We want to beat distraction. We want to beat that we don't feel like our work is impactful. Imagine that you have focus, that you feel supported, that you feel like your work matters. You know what you're trying to do. You know the skills you're building to do it. It's happening little by little, one step at a time you're implementing. Imagine what that can feel like. Why don't you put in the comment just the feelings you might have when that actually happens. Join us in Fresh Path MD. You don't have to have anything figured out to come in. It's just a place for support. Support is vital in growing. Okay? All right. So put in the comments, your best takeaway from the video. Where are you going to start? With focusing, build support, or figure out your impact? Focus, support, or impact. What are you going to put it? Put in the chat. I'd love to know. Reach out with any questions at thebrainfresh@gmail.com, thebrainfresh@gmail.com. Okay. And then click, check out the link right here in the comments, probably below. And then like and subscribe to Brain Fresh today. So it'll be more information for women docs. Just shed a little light on your journey as a professional person, as a woman doc, and some, resources for the trials and tribulations that come along with that. All right. You got this, guys. Thanks for coming. All right. We'll see you next time.